The European Union has announced a €4.7 billion investment package for South Africa to support green energy and vaccine production, strengthening economic and political ties. The commitment was made during the first bilateral summit between the EU and South Africa in 7 years, held at President Cyril Ramaphosa's office in Cape Town.
Both our unions arose from the depth of conflict and suffering. Both had visionary leaders who saw that the path to peace and coexistence was not recrimination, but reconciliation. South Africa remains an emblem of hope for the world. Today, we are together announcing.
Now, European Union leaders have thrown their weight behind South Africa in the face of growing protectionism and economic threats. At the start of the 8th South Africa-European Union Summit in Cape Town, President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, announced a €4.7 billion investment package for South Africa. This announcement comes just days after the US withdrew from South Africa Just Energy Transition Partnership. That's what it was called. This was the first South Africa-EU summit since 2018. Von der Leyen, who came out strongly in favor of multilateralism, said that Europe was looking to deepen its trade relationship with South Africa, and strengthening trade ties was in everyone's interest. South Africa is the EU's largest trading partner in sub-Saharan Africa. The EU president also added that the funding they announced included
Open this new chapter in our relations. Europe can contribute with, as you mentioned, the €4.7 billion investment package. We call it Global Gateway. As you said, it is around about 94 billion rand. And with this package, we want to work together on 3 key initiatives.
A groundbreaking announcement as EU seeks to boost its investment in South Africa.
We are also investing in connectivity. We're investing in transport corridors like the north-south Lubumbashi to Durban route, to upgrade railway and port infrastructure, so important for connectivity. And we are also investing together in digital networks. We will work on fiber and 5G, for example, so that South Africa as a whole country is connected, but also, of course, connected to the rest of the world. Finally, on health, indeed, we both learned bitter lessons during COVID-19. And therefore, we support your pharmaceutical industry with €700 million, because it means vaccines and medication produced in South Africa.
These meetings are important for advancing the African agenda and the EU's Global Gateway strategy, which supports the digitization as well as the infrastructure development across the African continent.
The world has changed significantly since our last meeting. We have faced global pandemic and devastating conflicts, including Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine, the crisis in the Middle East, and dramatic conflicts in the African continent.
This comes as the globe is concerned about the trade war.
We don't like tariffs because we think that tariffs are taxes and they are bad for business and they are bad for consumers. We've always said that we will at the same time defend our interest. We've said it and we've shown it. But at the same time, I also want to emphasize that we are open for negotiations.
Europe's €4.7 billion investment partnership with South Africa marks one of the most consequential geoeconomic moves between the global North and Africa in recent years. The agreement, announced within the framework of the EU-South Africa Strategic Partnership, focuses on clean energy, green industrialization, infrastructure modernization, and trade integration. While publicly framed as a sustainability initiative, the scale, timing, and structure of the deal reveal deeper strategic motivations tied to global power realignment, supply chain security, and geopolitical competition. South Africa occupies a unique position in the global economy. It is Africa's most industrialized economy, a G20 member, a gateway to southern African markets, and a country with advanced financial systems, logistics infrastructure, and mineral resources critical to the energy transition. Europe's decision to commit €4.7 billion is not simply developmental assistance. It is a calculated investment in stability, access, and influence at a time when global trade routes, energy systems, and political alliances are being reshaped. The investment package is structured around multiple pillars. A significant portion targets South Africa's energy transition, particularly the expansion of renewable energy generation capacity. South Africa's electricity system has long been dominated by coal, with state utility Eskom struggling under aging infrastructure, debt burdens, and supply shortfalls. Europe's financing aims to accelerate the deployment of solar, wind, and grid modernization projects, reducing emissions while stabilizing power supply for industry. Energy reliability is central to South Africa's economic recovery. Frequent power outages have constrained manufacturing, mining, and services, undermining investor confidence. By supporting grid upgrades and renewable integration, the EU positions itself as a long-term partner in resolving one of South Africa's most pressing structural challenges. This also aligns with Europe's broader climate objectives, allowing the EU to externalize parts of its green transition through overseas investment while securing cleaner supply chains. Another core component of the €4.7 billion deal focuses on green industrialization. South Africa is rich in critical minerals such as platinum group metals, manganese, and vanadium materials essential for electric vehicles, hydrogen technologies, and battery systems. Europe's industrial strategy increasingly depends on diversifying access to these resources away from overconcentration in single suppliers. By investing directly in value addition capacity within South Africa, the EU reduces dependency risks while encouraging local processing rather than raw exports. Trade facilitation is also embedded in the agreement. The EU is already South Africa's largest trading partner, but the new partnership seeks to deepen integration through infrastructure upgrades, customs modernization, and support for small and medium-sized enterprises participating in cross-border value chains. Improved port efficiency, logistics corridors, and digital trade systems are intended to reduce friction and increase the competitiveness of South African exports entering European markets. From South Africa's perspective, the deal provides capital at a critical moment. Economic growth has been constrained by structural bottlenecks, high unemployment, and global economic volatility. Access to large-scale, concessional, and blended financing from Europe offers fiscal breathing room while avoiding some of the debt sustainability concerns associated with purely commercial borrowing. It also reinforces South Africa's positioning as a preferred investment destination within Africa. The geopolitical context surrounding the agreement is impossible to ignore. Europe faces mounting pressure from global competition, particularly from China's deep economic footprint across Africa and the United States' renewed engagement through trade, security, and diplomatic initiatives. For Europe, South Africa serves as a strategic anchor. Its legal frameworks, regulatory institutions, and financial markets provide a degree of predictability valued by European investors. By concentrating such a large commitment in South Africa, the EU strengthens a rules-based partnership model that contrasts with alternative investment approaches emphasizing speed over governance. The deal also intersects with global climate finance debates. Developing countries have long argued that climate commitments from wealthy nations must be matched with tangible financial support. Europe's investment allows the EU to demonstrate leadership while leveraging South Africa as a showcase for how large emerging economies can transition toward cleaner energy without sacrificing industrial capacity. However, the partnership is not without risks. Execution challenges remain significant. South Africa's energy sector reform process is complex, involving regulatory changes, labor considerations, and coordination across government agencies. Infrastructure projects face procurement delays and cost overruns. The success of the €4.7 billion investment will depend heavily on governance, transparency, and institutional capacity. Politically, the deal strengthens South Africa's leverage on the global stage. As a G20 member with close ties to both Western and non-Western powers, South Africa occupies a balancing position. Europe's investment reinforces Pretoria's role as a diplomatic and economic bridge, allowing it to negotiate from a position of enhanced confidence in international forums. The timing of the agreement also reflects Europe's internal pressures. Energy insecurity following geopolitical disruptions has forced the EU to rethink supply dependencies, securing partnerships that support renewable inputs, green hydrogen potential, and critical minerals aligns with Europe's long-term strategic autonomy goals. For Africa more broadly, the deal sends a signal. Large-scale, structured investment partnerships are possible when institutional alignment, market scale, and political engagement converge. While South Africa's position is unique, the agreement may influence how other African countries structure their own engagements with Europe and other global powers. The €4.7 billion pact also underscores a shift in how development finance is framed. Rather than traditional aid, the focus is on mutual economic interest, co-investment, and long-term returns. This reflects a broader evolution in international economic relations, where Africa is increasingly viewed as a partner in global growth rather than a peripheral recipient. As implementation unfolds, scrutiny will intensify. Civil society groups will monitor environmental standards, labor impacts, and community outcomes. Businesses will watch regulatory consistency and project pipelines. International observers will assess whether the partnership delivers measurable results or becomes another ambitious announcement constrained by execution gaps. Ultimately, Europe's €4.7 billion commitment to South Africa represents more than a financial figure. It is a strategic bet on Africa's industrial future, a response to global competition, and a statement about where Europe sees long-term economic alignment. Whether it becomes a turning point or a missed opportunity will depend on delivery, governance, and sustained political will on both sides.
You've been watching Echoes of Africa, where every story carries the sound of tomorrow. If this moved you, subscribe now, like, and share so Africa's voice never fades into silence.